In this lesson, we are going to create our first animation in Maya. Before we get started, make sure you open the file called ball rig in order to follow me. So here in the scene, you see I have a ball. I created that in Maya and I rigged that in Maya too. So if I select the control and I'm going to hit W on the keyboard to select the move tool, and then I'm going to move it about 10 units on Y. Let's type 10 in Y. So now the ball is 10 units on Y. And another thing I want to do, I want to go to the time slider and then change that to 16. And I want to change that to 16 too. So as you see now, I have the frame 1 and the last frame is 16, and that's enough for our animation. So make sure the time slider is at the frame 1, and then I'm going to translate Y, and then I'm going to right click there and click on key selected. So what this does, this will create a key there, and you see this red indicator showing us that there is a key here. And if you look at the frame 1, we have a red line, and this is a key too. So in order to make the red indicator here thicker, you can go to the right there and click on the animation preferences. And here you see we have the height. So if I click on that, as you see, the time is larger now, and you can make it 4x too. I'm going to leave it at 1x. And here you see we have key tick size. So if I set that to 2x or 3, as you see now the indicator is thicker. I'm going to leave that to 1x2. So let's click on cancel. And now I'm going to frame 8. And then I'm going to move the ball to 0. And then I'm going to right click and key selected. And if you want to delete the keys, you can right click there. And you need to go to break connection. So if I click on that, as you see, I deleted the key. Let's undo that. And you can delete the key from the time slider too. So if you right click there and click on delete, as you see, I deleted the key. Let's undo that. So now I'm going to frame 16, and then I'm going to move that again to 10 units. And then I need to right click because I made a change there. So I need to confirm the key. So now we have a key on frame 16 too. So we have very boring animation, as you see, up and down. So now let's go ahead and edit the curves in the animation editor or in the graph editor. So I'm going to Windows and then animation editors, and I'm going to click on graph editor. And the graph editor in Maya is so powerful. So if I select the curve, there, as you see, we have the translate Y animation curve. So what's happening here, the ball falling slowly, as you see, and when it reaches the ground, it slows down. And we need to make it faster when it reaches the ground. So I'm going to select this key, and here you see we have two handles beside the key. So if I select the first handle and drag that, as you see, the second handle moves with it, and we have a problem there. So let's undo that, and we need to break them. So I need to select that, and I can go to break. And now, as you see, I can now select the handle without affecting the second handle. So I'm going to move it up like that. So now the ball will fall fast, very fast. It will start slowly and then falling very fast and then slowly going up and to the up there. So let's close that for now. And now let's see it. As you see now, it's much better than before. And another thing we can do, we can add a squash and stretch. So I created an attribute there called squash. So we need to key that too. So when the ball falls down, I need to add a squash effect there. So I can do that by going to frame 9. Let's first set a key to the squash at the frame 8, and in the 9 I need to increase that, something like that, and let's set a key. And but the problem is, as you see, the ball is off the ground, so I need to select the control, and I want to hold the ball at the ground for 3 frames. So at the 9th frame I'm going to set that to 0. Don't worry if this is a little bit complicated for you. So at the 10 again, 0, and right mouse and key selected. So I am holding the ball on the ground for 3 frames. And now in the frame 9 we have a squash, right? And at the frame 10 I'm going to increase the squash a little bit more, something like that, and a key. And now you see we have the squash effect. And now the ball at the frame 11, I want to set that to 0. I don't want to make any squash there. So let's see the effect. Great. And now let's add a stretch effect. So when the ball falls, it should be stretched a little bit. So I can do that by selecting the control again, and I'm going to set a key there. As you see, the squash indicator there, it's not red, so I need to select that, right click and key selected. And now I'm going to frame 8, and in the frame 8 I wanna make that a little bit stretched, and right click and choose key selected. So now the ball falls. As you see, we are stretching the ball, and when it hits the ground it squashes, as you see. Nice. And at the frame 11 to 16 I want to stretch that again. So at the frame 11 I'm going to stretch that a little bit like that, and key. And at the frame 16 I need to set that to 0. Let's set a key and see that. So, and at the frame 15 I need to add a little bit of stretch too on that. So let's choose. So now let's go back, and I want to hide the curve, so I can do that by going to show and hide the NURB curves. So let's click on that, and now let's hit play. As you see, we have a nice animation. We have just one problem here. So if you look at the frame 1 and at the frame 16, they are the same, and this is going to add a little bit of holding in the up. So we can go to the set the end times to 15. So now it's better than before, as you see. So now if I play the animation, we don't have any hold on the frame 16 or 1. So now your homework is to create the animation like I did and post it in the discussions. So you can upload it on YouTube and set the link in the discussions so I can take a look on it.